Hi, and welcome to the historic spa town of Harrogate in Yorkshire. This is our fourth and final destination as part of our Yorkshire road trip in the north of England. We started in York, then took in Whitby before taking the scenic route to Ripon. And while we could have taken the 12-mile journey to Harrogate, we stretched it to 120 miles through the Yorkshire Dales. We shortlisted a number of places we wanted to visit, so let's go and explore Harrogate. And we're going to start at the Royal Pump House Museum, built in 1842 as a place to take in the mineral waters of Harrogate, now a museum to lead you back in time through Harrogate's relatively recent history. Because Harrogate began as two quiet villages, but the discovery of mineral springs in 1571 turned it into one of Britain's most fashionable spa towns. With the arrival of the railway in the 19th century, elegant buildings, gardens and bathhouses transformed it into a place where people came not just to heal, but to be seen. And just opposite the pump house is one of those elegant gardens I mentioned, the Valley Gardens. Actually, it's the town's main park, laid out in 1887 to mark Queen Victoria's Golden Jubilee. It's home to several of the springs where anyone could take the waters or even bathe in them. As we take in the gardens, just a quick reminder, if you're enjoying this, then why not give us a like? And if you enjoy my style of video, then why not subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our further travels around the UK and a little further afield. We'll always try to bring you a little history and culture. Anyway, the Valley Gardens are Grade 2 listed and cover 17 acres. So if you're looking for a quiet spot in Harrogate, you know where to head. We're going to head past another icon of Harrogate, the Crown Hotel, constructed in the mid-19th century on the site of an earlier inn dating from around 1740. You can see from the architecture that this was the area developed after the spa waters were popularised. You can spot the wealth in the type of shops, and that's reflected as we make our way up Montpellier Hill, where you'll discover the Montpellier Quarter, sprung up in the 19th century as a place for the wealthy spa visitors to promenade, now known for its independent shops, galleries, cafes and cobbled streets. We're now on Montpellier Street, and some of you will know where we're heading, but that's not before I mention the Stray on our right. Protected by an Act of Parliament in 1778, it is a series of green spaces open to the public which gives Harrogate its green lungs and helps give that wide, spacious feel to the town. Now we're where Montpellier Street meets Parliament Street, and that means we're at Betty's, a Harrogate institution. Founded by Frederick Belmont, a Swiss confectioner in 1919, it's a Swiss-style tea room that blends traditional afternoon tea and continental cafe culture. You may have seen the sister branch in York if you caught our video on that. Don't worry, it'll be up at the end. As with all our videos, there'll be a link in the description to all the places we mention, including Betty's cafe and tea room, and just across the street, the Cenotaph. Unveiled in 1923 and constructed of Portland stone, it stands 23 metres or 75 foot tall. It commemorates the 1,163 fallen heroes from World War I and II. And just along from Prospect Square, where the War Memorial stands, you'll find Prospect Place. Again, the 19th century listed buildings show how Harrogate expanded in the late Georgian and early Victorian period, and that elegance shines through to this day. I know the way I'm speaking makes it seem Harrogate is all history and somehow it's resting on its laurels. It's not. It's still a great place to visit. Even the Tour de France visited in 2014, with Harrogate being the finish of the Grand Depart. But it's still very Yorkshire. I'm proud of it. So it has its traditional side, but within that it's still bang up to date. In fact, we love strolling the streets of Harrogate. This is John Street, a great example of what we mean. And for style, the 1936 Odeon cinema and the oh so elegant facade of the Victoria shopping centre right next to Harrogate station. And for reference, King's Cross to Harrogate takes just under 3 hours. And just a short walk from the Victoria shopping centre and you'll reach the Victoria Monument, installed in 1887 to mark Queen Victoria's Golden Jubilee. We've now jumped 10 minutes across town to Crescent Gardens, and there's a reason we've made our way to Crescent Road, and that's to locate the Royal Baths. This late 19th century gem is now a Chinese restaurant, but its beautiful interior remains intact. Then just around the corner on Ripon Road is the Royal Hall Theatre, which is also the Harrogate Convention Centre. I'll include a link for the theatre events in the description. Then up Parliament Street is Harrogate's Turkish Baths, where you can still book a session. Terms and conditions apply. Then next up the hill is the Winter Gardens, which is now a J.D. Wetherspoon's pub. It's worth popping in to take a look at the interior. The exterior of Parliament Street is also interesting, especially when you get to the Westminster Arcade. Built around 1898 in a Gothic style, it really catches your eye and emphasises the grandeur of the town during the Victorian era. A stroll through the arcade, and I'm left wondering what it would have looked like in its heyday. The interesting thing about Harrogate is, in British terms, how new it is. Finding anything before the 17th century is almost impossible. The Wellesley Methodist Chapel dates from 1862, and the town's central church is St Peter's, dating from the 1870s. And as we take a final look around Harrogate, I'm left reflecting how this has been the perfect bookend to a trip that started in York with its Roman origins, to the Anglo-Saxon history of Whitby and Ripon with a heavy dose of Norman too, and we find ourselves in Harrogate with its Georgian and Victorian influences. Plus we've had the wonderful landscape of North Yorkshire on the road trip legs. Remember to subscribe if you don't want to miss them. And a last question before I wrap up. If you're from Harrogate, how have I done with my Dan a bit? I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, I guess it's time to say my au revoirs. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and happy travels.